Hello, Sharks. I am Jonathan Little for PokerCoaching.com, coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm here playing the U.S. Poker Open. We're grinding it out, doing our best, and something timely is happening in the poker world. We have another giant heads-up match taking place right now between Bill Perkins and Landon Tice. Bill Perkins, for those who do not know, is a high-stakes poker player with over $5 million in live tournament earnings despite not really playing a whole lot of tournaments. He's played on high-stakes poker, I think Poker After Dark. He's been all over the place. He gets in there, he battles. He's also a hedge fund manager and businessman and a film producer and an author. He has a book called Die With Zero. I like it. Check it out. He's playing heads up against Landon Tice, who is a 22-year-old kid living in Las Vegas, primarily an online/live cash game player, and he has gone from the micro stakes to the highest stakes games, $200, $400 blinds in this case, in about 18 months. I think he also used to help Joey Ingram with his video content or something like that. I don't know. He's in there. He's battling it out with Bill Perkins for all of the money. This is a rather weird heads-up match where Landon is essentially spotting Bill Perkins 9 big blinds per 100. Bit of a spoiler so far. They've played about 1/10 of the total amount of hands they've agreed to, and Landon is winning at about 10 big blinds per 100, so he's up just a little bit. Look, 9 big blinds per 100 is a very big amount to spot. You have to think your opponent is not particularly great at heads-up no-limit hold'em, or that you're the absolute best. I don't know much about these players' no-limit heads-up games. I gotta presume Bill studied. He doesn't want to give it away. I gotta presume Landon studied. He doesn't want to give it away. But 9 big blinds is a lot to spot. I have no bets on this match, but if I had to bet, I would have just bet on Bill plus 9 big blinds per 100 because, 9 big blinds per 100 is a lot. To be fair, a good heads-up player against a not good heads-up player is probably going to win at something like 20 or 25 big blinds per 100. So it's, giving Bill a decent amount of credit to not be, standard recreational poker player playing heads-up against Landon. I got to presume Landon is going to be pretty good. All right, here we have a hand where Bill Perkins raises it up. Landon 3 bets with the ace-king offsuit. If this is a situation where you call pretty much ever, you're probably screwing up. Make sure you check out our free downloadable charts at pokercoaching.com/HUNL. Bill decides to call. Flop comes 662. It's always annoying in this spot because ace-king is often good, but if a lot of money goes in the pot, it's probably not. Notice these players are playing about 200 big blinds deep to start this hand. 175 big blinds deep, something like that. So I don't really think you can do anything besides bet here. It's very easy for Bill to have 2 overcards with a club, which have to continue against a medium or small bet size. And Landon actually does size it up a little bit. He goes 5,000 into 7,600, which is perfectly reasonable, and Bill opts to call. Okay, turn is a 2 of hearts. Another pretty neat spot because if Bill has a pair, he has the best hand. If he does not, well, sometimes he's chopping, sometimes he's hoping to catch a bluff. That said, this is a scenario where I do not think Landon can bet, because if Landon bets, what is going to call? Well, 6s are going to call, 2s are going to call. Not that Bill has all that many, but those are going to call every single time. Pairs are going to call. No pairs are going to fold, which is clearly bad for Landon. And ace-high may even call. So the only way Landon can realistically continue in this scenario is to check and then see what develops. Obviously, he hopes it just checks down and Bill loses with queen-high. That said, if Bill's sitting over here with queen-high, it's probably a pretty good hand to start bluffing with, right? Also, if Bill does have a random flush draw, he can consider bluffing as well, because when he gets there, he's often good, right? So pretty tough spot for Landon, where I think he's kind of roped into check calling a turn bet. He checks. Bill Perkins does bet. 7,000. Landon calls. I see no other play. You don't want to turn your hand into a bluff and raise, because it's pretty hard for Landon to have a 6, and Bill can have some 6s and 2s. Also, would Landon even want to check raise a hand like aces when Bill could just have 6s or 2s? Like, not really, right? So it's a spot where Landon's going to check call a lot. By the way, whenever you find spots like this where your opponent is just going to check call a lot, they don't have the option to raise, that's a pretty good spot to bet, because you always get to see the river, which is quite good. River is a 9. Landon checks, and Bill now bets all in. $54,000 into the $30,000 pot. What do you think you should do in this scenario? It makes you grab your hat. You guys like this new poker coaching hat, by the way? I got to see them for the first time. I like them a lot. We'll be getting those out to poker coaching members soon. Make sure you check your emails. We'll be figuring out merchandise very soon. What do you like in this scenario? If you're in Landon's shoes with the ace high, you block one flush draw. Should we call or should we fold? Take a second and write what you would do in the comment section below. All right. This is a situation where your play depends very heavily on Bill's strategy. This is a spot where I don't really think you should just look at the GTO chart because your opponent's probably not playing GTO. I have to imagine Bill and most players in this scenario are either drastically overbluffing or drastically underbluffing. One of the two. I don't know which. It's important to make sure you study your opponent well and pay attention to the best of your ability. I'm sure Landon's done this. If this concept is unfamiliar to you, well, we discuss this a lot at pokercoaching.com, my training site. We're actually having our biggest sale of the year so far for Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I'm currently away in Vegas. I'm missing my two boys. I never thought I'd be missing two little kids until I had two little kids. So shout out to all the fathers out there. Good job, good work. Let's raise some good youngsters. All right, in this scenario, from what I've seen on TV, which is all I really know about Bill Perkins, he is not afraid to run bluffs. The question, though, is will he run big bluffs? I gotta presume he will because he's studied, but if I am playing against someone who I know is loose end, splashy, and aggressive, sometimes they will run big bluffs for all of their money, $54,000 into the $30,000 pot in this instance, and sometimes they run big bluffs for only some of their money, like for $20,000. They don't really want to put in the big all-in bet. I would have hoped Landon studied all the tape he possibly could on Bill Perkins, but even then, that's not necessarily indicative of what he's going to do in this online heads-up match. And for that reason, I would probably lean towards calling here just because lots of draws missed, right? It is reasonable for Bill Perkins to float the flop with any club hand or any hard hand, bet the turn, and then feel inclined to bluff the river. It's also reasonable for him to have a hand like 4-3 suited that's going to do the same thing, right? That said, he may just be straight up value betting here every time. The question, though, is what hands does he really want to value bet? He only really wants to value bet here with a 6. I think a 2 can go all in here as well. Or pocket 9s, if you happen to have that, that'd be pretty unlucky for Landon. But he would certainly bet turn just straight up for value in 9s and then jam it on the river. And if that is his only value range, a 6, a 2, or pocket 9s, then I think ace high is a pretty reasonable call. Landon does run into the spot, though, where every once in a while, Bill's just making this play for a very thin value with a hand like pocket jacks or pocket 5s for fun / bluff / who knows what is happening. And if that's happening, this comes way closer to a fold. In scenarios like this where your opponents are going to be very polarized, meaning they either have the nuts or nothing, what they view as the nuts, like as that hand gets weaker and weaker, but you still lose to it, increases, then they're proportionally more likely to have bluffs, right? Because imagine if Bill Perkins in the spot only jammed all in with 4 of a kind or pocket 9s, right? Like imagine he doesn't even jam with ace-6. In that scenario, then there's almost no hands Bill's jamming, but there are a lot of potential bluffs that he could be jamming, right? In which case, that makes this ace high an easy call. But if Bill's going to jam pocket 9s, any 6, any 2, pocket 10s, pocket 5s, pocket 3s, right? Then ace high loses to proportionally way more hands, just because there are more hands available. Sorry for being long-winded. I'm sure someone's going to go off on me on the chat. This guy talks too long. Shout out to those people in the chat box, in the comment section. Go do something else with your life. If you're enjoying this video, click like, click subscribe. Anyway, what do I do in this spot? With no read besides what I know about Bill, I would call. If I have played with him some and I know he just doesn't run too many big bluffs like this on the river, I would fold. So you can do whatever you want. Let's see what Landon did. Landon calls. You think he beats the 8-7 or the 4-3 or the queen-jack or the queen-10 or the queen-8 of clubs? No. No, he loses to pocket 9s. And he doesn't even learn anything. That's the tough thing about this hand, is that if you call and you lose to like 3-2 suited, you learn your opponent is a little bit splashy pre-flop. If you call and you lose to pocket eights, you learn your opponent value bet's pretty thin. If you call and win against the queen eight of clubs, you learn a pretty good amount. But here, Landon learns nothing besides Bill plays nines in the logical manner. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please, again, click like and subscribe and follow and whatever all the buttons are where you can see this. Also, thanks to Poker News for hosting this video. If you want, well, great poker news, check out pokernews.com. And if you want to get a big discount on my training site, pokercoaching.com, we're having the biggest sale of the year at pokercoaching.com/fathers. For the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. Good luck in your games. Have a great, great week. And I'll talk to you next time. Did you know that subscribing to this YouTube channel will increase your poker win rate by 36%? Go ahead, do it. Actually, that was a bluff. You actually have to watch all the content and apply yourself and work hard and put in volume. Sorry about that.